So what is going on, guys, and today is another episode of my new series Batman Arkham Revisited, and this episode, as by the title, it is Batman Arkham Knight. Now you could say it's one of the most controversial games in the series because of the hate that it's got in the last few years, but there's reasons for that anyway. But before we get into it, I want to thank you for all the support recently. We've with the last video that with the Avengers, where it's got over 60 views, which I'm thankful for, and I appreciate all the support, especially with the series as well. So yeah, thank you for that, and let's get into it. So we all know that this game is probably arguably one of the most ambitious games in this series. The fact that it's introduced the Batmobile for the first time, it introduced a lot of core mechanics that weren't done before, so it's quite an expansive world, should we say, because the gameplay, for example, is improved vastly, I think, over the game, I think, because as you can tell in the background, if you compare the gameplay between Arkham Knight and, for example, Arkham City or Arkham Asylum, you can tell that they've definitely made it more wider, and they've definitely made it more much more smoother and more improved, should we say, because obviously with Arkham City and Arkham Asylum, or even Arkham Origins as well, the combat was getting better over time, but it felt stiff as the game just got older. But with Arkham Knight, it feels more fluid, more smooth, and that also can be said about stealth as well. With the fear takedown movement and different animations and different styles from the enemies, and how they can be different over time as well, where they can use thermal tracking and much more technology stuff. But so I think overall the gameplay is definitely better in Arkham Knight, and that goes for all sides as well, including the Batmobile as well, because the Batmobile controls very smoothly. The steering is good, the acceleration is good, it's pretty quick, it can be upgraded, it can have different armor plates, it can obviously combat with tanks, and also go into pursuit mode where you can chase people down. So overall, yes, it is definitely a thing to enjoy, should we say. Now with the story, you could argue it could be a bit weak at times, but obviously everyone was thinking of this game is going to be like one of these incredible stories where it's going to end the series off in a massive bang, which it does to an extent, but it's mostly just cliffhangers where you see Bruce Wayne go into his house, and everyone knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman after the end, and that it's kind of the end of Batman, where they can no longer cooperate with crime around Gotham. So with that in mind, you could say that it's not likely the end of the story yet, to an extent, but since it's cliffhanger, we all know there are possibilities of other things in the future where they could probably do one more game or two. I don't know, but let's wait and see about that. But overall, yes, I can definitely admit that the story is good. So some hate it because of how it compares to Arkham City and Arkham Asylum, where it's much more much more set around one area. For example, Arkham City is based in Arkham City, where what happens in those four walls. Arkham Asylum, same as well, but in a much smaller area. Now, I'm not saying that Arkham Knight's story is better than those, I'm just saying it's better than what people think. So, there's a difference between that and that. So, yeah, obviously, in Arkham Knight as well, you can play as different characters. You can play as Robin, Nightwing, Catwoman, Azrael, Harley Quinn, Arkham Knight, many more characters, aside from Batman. So it's good to see that it's definitely adaptable, because you can play as different characters, and they all have different not just animations, but how they play as well. Different play styles, where some characters are better suited to stealth missions, and others are best off just going through head-on combat, really. But we all know that in Arkham Knight as well, it's by far the biggest game in the entire series. Like, you can explore almost the entirety of Gotham in one world, which is pretty much incredible. The fact that it's so tall, and it's so, you can definitely see that it's one of the most detailed and most graphic worlds that you're going to see on that console generation. And the fact that it's also going to be playable on PS5 and Xbox One, Xbox Series X, sorry. You can definitely tell it's going to have a very good time on those consoles as well, with the fact that it's going to load faster. So yeah, this one of Gotham that you can experience in Arkham Knight is definitely one to enjoy, because it's definitely, you know, it's positively huge. It's got a lot of areas to explore, a lot of interiors to explore, like studios. You got GCPD. You've got what else is there? The banks, obviously, you know, with Gotham Maze Bank, and many more areas to explore, which, you know, it's only positive to see. So overall, I think this game is definitely one to experience, and it's let's just say it's by far, well, a bit controversial saying this, but it's by far my favourite game in the series, but only because of how, you know, how adaptable it is, and the fact that it can definitely, you know, be experienced much more fluidly and much more detailed compared to the games. Which I'm not saying that, you know, the other games are bad. Because in my opinion, every game in the series has its own, you know, unique about it. You know, it's amazing how they've done that, and that's why all the games are great in the series. Not just one of them, but all of them. So with that in mind, I think Arkham Knight to me is probably the best out of the series, but that's just my opinion. But what I'll do, I'll leave the comments down below on what you think, and see if you guys agree or not, and let me know if you do. You know, it doesn't matter if you don't. And yeah, so this is the end of the video. Next, you're going to see Arkham Origins, and then finally Arkham VR, and after that is the end of the series. So with that in mind, if you like the video, give it a like, turn on notification if you haven't already, subscribe if you haven't already either. We're not far off 80 subs, so let's see if we can hit that pretty soon. And yeah, thank you for support. Leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on, you see on the screen right now, and I will see you in the next episode, which will be either Arkham Origins or Arkham VR. So on that note, adios.